Hello everyone, welcome back to another Alteryx tutorial. In this video, I will be going over weekly challenge number 11, which aims to identify logical groups. So in this challenge, we have two text input files in the input container. So the first file contains complaints, customer complaints made to a manufacturing company, and the second file contains search keywords and then bucket types. So basically a bucket is a complaints type. So all of these complaints are made by customers fall into one of these buckets or not at all. So in this challenge, we will be identifying which to which bucket these complaints belong to. And to do that, I will first use the record ID tool from the preparation tab. I love using this tool. It's very handy when it comes to parsing data. It is also very useful and will make the data parsing so much easier. So I will connect it to the test2 text input file. And now that I have uniquely identified each row of my data right here, I will go ahead and append it to the second file, which contains the search keywords and then the bucket category. And to do that, I will go to the Join tab and use the Append fields. So I'm really appending the two tables, like I'm adding the columns right next to each other. I'm not joining them. I will connect the first text input, and then I'll connect the second one, and I will go ahead and run my workflow. As you can see, each row has been uniquely identified, and my search and bucket columns have been appended to my data table. So now that I have my table ready, I will go ahead and use the formula tool from the preparation tab. As I mentioned earlier, some of these complaints belong to a bucket type. And to identify which bucket they belong to, I will be simply looking for the search keywords in the fields. So to do that, I will use a conditional formula, and I will create a column called flag to flag the complaints. So basically, if the column field underscore 6, which is simply the complaints column, contains a search keyword, then the flag column will display the value 1. However, if the search keyword is not in the field underscore 6 column, then the flag output would be a 0. So I will go ahead and run my workflow. So it seems that the first complaints do not belong to any bucket as they are not flagged. Here we have 1, so that means that one of the search keywords was found in this complaint. So to help us identify which complaints fall into which bucket, we will go ahead and filter our data using the filter tool. And for the configuration of my tool, I will use a basic filter, and I will choose the select column flag and equals 1. So basically, I will select the columns that contain a search keyword. All the other columns do not contain a search keyword. Therefore, I will simply focus the rest of my data parsing on the fields that do contain a search keyword. So now, as you can see, the flag column only contains number 1 values, so which means that all these complaints contain a search keyword and they belong to one of the buckets that we have. So now that I've identified which complaints are the complaints that fall into the 3 buckets we have, I will go ahead and summarize my data using the summarize tool from the transform tab, connect it to the true um, to the true output of my filter tool. So the true output contains all values, all fields for which the flag column contains 1. As I mentioned in the basic filter, flag must equal to 1. And in the false output, it would be all the columns that do not contain 1, so basically 0. And since these complaints do not belong to any of the buckets, we will not focus on them. I will simply connect my summarize tool to the true output, which means that all the fields in this table right here belong to one of the buckets that we have. So now I would like to get more insights on which buckets our complaints fall into. So first of all, I will use the record ID field to group my data. So I will add it by group by. And then I am also interested in the bucket types. So I will select bucket, and I will add it using concatenate. I will go ahead and run my data flow. Okay, now it seems that we have more information regarding the bucket types. So for the complaints with record ID number 8, the bucket is tones. So here we have the complaints record IDs and the bucket to which they belong to, which is very insightful. But however, in the output data, we have the count. We don't have the record ID, we don't have the complaints, but we have the count of complaints. So to do that, we will need to use the summarize tool one more time, and this time I will only select my concat bucket field, and I will first add it by group by, and then I will add it using count, and I will simply rename my output field for the group by field. I will just rename it bucket to match the output data that we have here. And now I'll go ahead and run my workflow. Okay, now we have the bucket types. As you can see, some of the bucket fields contain 2 or 3 different values because of the type of complaints that we have in our data set. So it seems that now we have our bucket types and then we have the count. So let's compare it to the output data one more time. Okay, it seems that the buckets are that we got the bucket types right, also the counts right. However, I see that the counts are sorted by descending order. So we'll go ahead and do the same in my workflow using the preparation tab and the sort tool. So in my configuration window, I will select count and order using descending order. So now I'll run my workflow one more time. And now let's compare the output data that I just got to the output data provided. And it seems that my data is identical. So I will go ahead and end my workflow using the browse tool as usual. Run my workflow one more time. And And here we are. The challenge has been solved. Thank you very much for watching.